We are really grateful and honored to have you here, that you are giving us your valuable time and most importantly, expertise on the topic of Google Classrooms to help us and our teachers understand so that they can effectively use Google Classrooms. So just to start off with a brief introduction of Sonia ma'am, most of you might have been a part of her sessions. And Ms. Sonia Vadva is the IT manager and HOD for ICT at the Sanskar Valley School in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Sonia ma'am has an experience of 23 years in teaching diverse curriculums, CBSE, ICSE, and Cambridge. And she researches on EdTeach tools which can be used to make classroom transactions more engaging and effective, and then train the teachers to use the same effectively. And during these pressing times, when educators have needed technology more than ever before, Sonia ma'am has trained about 700 plus educators pan India. She's a Nearpod certified educator, MIEE fellow, Microsoft trainer. She's a Google certified educator, Flipgrid certified, and a Wakelet ambassador as well. So welcome to the session, Sonia ma'am. And I look forward to handing it over to you so that without much ado, you can start sharing the session, and the teachers are waiting for Google Classroom so they can make the most of it. Welcome, Sonia ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Sonia ma'am. Namaste to you. And before we move ahead with this session, I would like to congratulate you for your recent achievement.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You can move ahead.
Good evening, everyone. And once again, welcome to the session. And today we are going to do Google Classroom. However, I have one confession here that maybe I'm not an expert with this tool, but I have tried my best to, whatever I'm going to present you, to do little research, because it has been now 10 years that I am working as Microsoft trainer, and I was shifted to that domain, trying with most of the Microsoft tools. But on your request, I have done research on some of the Google tools which can be leveraged, and I bring here today's presentation for you. So apologize me if I am unable to answer any question that may come up. However, I have with me my son, who is attending classes on Google Classrooms, and he only motivated me that don't worry, mama, you should be able to do it. And if you need any help, and I will be there to moderate. So if I get stuck anywhere, I will definitely invite him to help me. So if you permit me, I will start with the presentation.
Yes, ma'am, of course. And a big thank you to your son as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. I'll convey him. So talking about Google Classroom, so it's basically, we call such platforms as a complete LMS. So LMS stands for Learning Management Software. Unlike a simple Google, a meeting tool that we are using, Google Meet, Google Classroom is a powerful tool. Some of you who are conducting classes on Teams will be able to relate that on a platform like Teams, as you can, share assignments, you can do meetings, and you can set assignment, everything on one platform. The same way, Google Classroom also has provision to bring your children like a physical class in a virtual classroom, add your students to the classroom, give them work, take care of their work from the classroom itself. So we are going to explore this portal in detail. Now, before I start with the actual presentation, I would like to mention two things here. There are 3 versions which Google offer, and this entire suite is called as G Suite, and this is G Educational Suite actually. So I'm just going to show you through the browser. If you write on a browser, let's say if I write Google Classroom, so it shows me the first link itself that comes. It talks about the various versions which are available for the Google Classroom, the products and all. And it also talks about what is the difference between the enterprise version and the normal version. They have been kind enough to offer Google Classroom free to everyone during these pressing times, though with limited edition. But yes, we can, avail most
Ma'am, I think Sonia ma'am is stuck somewhere. I'll just quickly check with her. So I guess Sonia ma'am is disconnected. I'll just have a check with her. Give me a moment.
I'm so sorry. It's raining so heavily at our end, and there looks like there was power cut, and I lost the connection in between. So I'll just begin from where we were discussing. Let me know if the screen is visible now. Is it visible now to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we were discussing that Google, Classroom is a part of Google Suite, and Google Suite is during these times is free for everyone. So you all may have some of us may be using organizational ID. For example, my school ID Sonia_Vadva@sanskarvalley.org means my organization has an account with Google, and they have taken up the organizational ID for all the students on teachers. So this may happen with many of the organization, but it doesn't mean that we will be able to use Google Classroom with organizational ID. For that, the school administrator has to enable this tool for your Google Enterprise Edition. Now I am showing you here, like, you are clueless, you are just a teacher, you don't know what is enterprise version, what is paid version, what is free version. How without any investment you can go ahead and bring your students on Google Classroom and start taking your classes, and you do not have any hassle in that. So the first step is you have go to any browser and type classroom.google.com. So the URL is classroom.google.com. Now on my this system, I just signed in into the meeting using my ID, Google ID. That's why this is already coming sign in. If I would have not signed in here, then the first thing it will ask you to sign in. So you can sign in with your Google ID. So I just before the session, I did some testing. That's why this first class is coming here. Otherwise, if you sign in using a very fresh ID for the first time, it will say you no class here. Would you like to create a class or join a class? So if I would have come over here in Google Classroom as a student, I will join the class. But since I have come here as a teacher, my purpose is to first establish my classes on Google Classroom. So this is the plus sign. See, the interface is very neat and clean. When there was no class, if you come here for the first time, there will be no class. In the center, there will be a circle. So do you have a code to join, or there is no class, you want to create a class? So then it will show you to click here. Now, since I have come here for the second time, so my first test class is here and this plus sign is here. So there is no confusion. The interface is absolutely clean. So I click on the plus sign. If I am a student, I would click on join class. If I am a teacher, I would click on create class. So I'm going to click on create class. It is giving me certain instructions that if your school has G Suite for Education, sign in with organizational ID. If you have, Education Edition, sign in with a different ID. But I'm saying I have read the condition. I have normally signed in with my Gmail that is not associated to my school because I'm an educator. I want to try the free version with my students. So then I click on continue. Now it asks me, so it's always a good idea that you first create a class with, the names of your class. So let me give it a proper name. So I teach class 12th computer science. So I'm writing here class 12th computer science class. And then say I teach 2 sections. So I'm writing here science section. And this is subject is computer science. So I could have, actually taken away the subject from here. I could have just written class 12th. And this is science, subject computer science. Now, why is this room here? Now, some of the, colleges and schools, they use it. We have started using it during pandemic time, but some of them were using it earlier also. So as I said, Google Classroom is an LMS. Like if you are not taking live classes, but you want to assign work students, assign homework to the students using this platform, or you want to share notes with them, or you want to collaborate with them using this platform. So in that case, you can have classes otherwise also, even if you have your physical school running fully functional. In that case, for example, if you're a computer science teacher and your class every day happens in, let's say, computer lab. So I can write here computer lab. So for example, my son was telling me in their college, they have room numbers. So where this class physically happens, say room number 303, 302, like in a college. So on the Google Classroom, the teacher gives the actual room number to avoid confusion, so that the child knows that in real time also the class happens in this particular classroom. So you can click on computer lab and click on create. There is another advantage of giving room names. I will show it to you later on. So I'm going to create my class. I haven't added any student as of now. This is just that I'm creating my class. Now, if I have a database of my students, then I can create them, add them using their email ID. So if not, I have to first invite students to this particular class. Now what I'm going to do is, let's say you all are my students and I want you to be invited to this class, and you should see how you can become my students and can be added in this class. So this is my class code. If you can see it from my screen, I'm typing it in the chat window also. So what you have to do is, on your systems, please go to classroom.google.com. So I'm typing it in the chat window, and then you can type this code. So the instruction is, this is the code. You can copy paste it also. Go to classroom.google.com, sign up with your Gmail ID. Just click on any Gmail ID. So I'm writing classroom.google.com. Sign in with your Google ID and then join using this class code. So this is my class code. Then I should be able to see here on my dashboard that some students have joined my class. Now here I want to give you one thing. If your school has purchased the Education Edition, and if your school has given all the children the Gmail IDs. So if you're already using G Suite for Education and you already have a Gmail database of organizational ID of teachers and students, then your IT department can easily create classes before on hand. They can add the teachers and students seamlessly at their end, and then all the educators can just directly jump into taking classes. So then they don't need to do this exercise of creating classes by themselves and inviting students. But as it's a free option and you do not have that provision of managing those settings from your end, from your personal Gmail ID, so you can actually share the code of your class. with the students, and using this code, they should be able to join your class. So I have pasted this code in the class, chat window. If some of you are on the laptop, you can try joining my class, and then I will show you how the people in my class will be visible, those who have joined. So good to see that 4 of you have joined my class, and I'm able to see who all have joined. So Neha ma'am has joined, Vandana ma'am has joined. So you all have joined my class as my student. So this is the first step. I can see people are pouring in, you are joining in. So 6 students have joined. So at least I am good enough to go with all of you. Those who are still joining, please do join. So once the students have joined your class, so this is the way a teacher can set up the class and can actually bring in the students onto the class which you have just created. So this is people tab. So where would I see my students? Under the people tab. Now I was working here on, this is my home screen. Stream is from where I can operate and actually stream everything. Now this is my class banner which came automatically. So I got a message from Vandana ma'am also, Namaste ma'am. But I just want to tell you that if you are working in a scenario with your students, now since we are not able to manage the admin settings, so student with the code will join anyone. Now if that code is shared in a WhatsApp group, you may have anonymous people, those who are not your class member but may come to your class and can post anything which can be a threat to school system security system. Then you have some options in the settings of the classroom which I am going to show you, and you can definitely make sure that whether the student should post comment or they should post anything, so that those things can be controlled. So if you have a look here, there is this setting option. So I just clicked on that setting icon. It was the same icon which comes in every Android phone and in most of the interfaces for setting. Here, if I go at the bottom, my class code is here. Students can post and comment. Student can only comment. Only teacher can post or comment. So students can comment means if teacher will post, in the response to that post, the student can comment. Whether students should be able to create their own post or not, this will be decided by this option. Student can post and comment. And if I say only teachers can post or comment, then none of you will be able to post anything in this class. If I save this setting, some of you can try posting. It will say your teacher has blocked the comment. So you will not be able to. Like abhi I got 2 comments, but now I've done the setting, so students will not be. So generally in an ideal scenario, we don't want that. We want to at least share their feelings. So if you can say that, students can comment. So at least they can comment in response to the questions that you are asking. But as far as creating a post with video, images is concerned, they will not be able to do it. If I select this option, student can only comment. So they will be able to comment, but they will not be able to create a new post by adding images and videos to that. Now, it says shows condensed notification, hide notification, show attachment and details. So this option was selected, show condensed notification, and you must have seen on my tab, there was a notification which came in between on my screen. Stream has been updated. It means if more people joined in my class and some more messages came into that class group. So if I just say show condensed notification, so just one liner will come that stream has been updated. But if I say show attachments and details, so for every notification, it would show me that so-and-so has posted this much, as you get, little brief on the WhatsApp that so-and-so posted in the group. So it will come for the detailed notification will come. Now, the later part is about marking. We will come to this once we will discuss the assessment. Now, I've saved this setting. I just wanted to show you that you can actually block students' comment also if they are not desired in a particular classroom. Now, moving ahead, this was about creating class and controlling the settings to allow children to comment or post or not. Now, I am going to share something with the class. So this is as teacher, my point to start. So I can write here, this is share with all students, Or if suppose I want to send just a message to Deepa ma'am, so I can say unselect all and I just select Deepa ma'am's name, and I can then just write a message. For example, I'm writing, why did you miss yesterday's class? Right? So I'm just writing a message for her. So this is not for every student. This is individual message. And if I want to share the last session's worksheet with her, I can click on add. I can attach a file, and I want to help only one student and communicate with one student. So I have just given her the worksheet we did in the last class, and I attached that worksheet, and then I'm saying post. So Deepa ma'am, please unmute yourself and confirm that have you got a notification that Sonia has shared a post for you?
Ma'am, just checking, just checking.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we will move on. So I'll show you, say, for example, if I want to send something to the entire class. So here I can, say, for example, you have different levels of learners in your class. If you want to give a resource to only a few one, those who are very smart and they have finished all the homeworks, so you do select handful students, share the resource with them. By default, it is with all the students. So suppose I'm writing, hello, how are we all? So I am just typing a message and then I am sending it to you all. So this is post now. I can even schedule this post for a later.
Excuse me, ma'am. I got the file. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So the beauty here is that these posts are powerful posts. These are not just like any WhatsApp message that can, just go. So for example, if I click on post, so it will be posting now. Now this is 4:52. I am creating a worksheet which I want you all to be received by 5 o'clock. So in between the session also, so I want to schedule it at a later date. So I'm just uploading this worksheet. So for example, I have some time during the weekend and I want to upload the worksheet for the entire week on Sunday. But I don't want children to get it as soon as it is posted. I want to schedule it date wise. So I inserted this worksheet and then let's say I'm saying, okay, let me add file from Google Drive. So I'm just showing you, you can upload from your own system. You can upload a worksheet from Google Drive. So if I go to my drive, I may have some worksheets from here. So let's say I select an assignment. And I actually don't know what is in this assignment. Just to give you an example, I'm inserting this assignment. And then instead of posting now, I'm selecting here, this attachment is taking some time to upload. When it will upload, this button will be highlighted. So this was a big file, so maybe it is attaching. So the moment it is done, I have done the assignment. Now I will have these options, drop-down options enable. When my upload is complete, it will ask me post now or schedule at a later date. So I can actually schedule it at a later date. Okay, it is taking time. So maybe I will remove this and I'll take a smaller file. So let me take a small file for that matter. Okay, I'm just taking an image file. It is here and I'm selecting insert. And now I'm removing this Word file because it was taking a lot of time. So once I have done this, I will give just one-liner instruction. So my instruction is, how is this image, let's say. Okay, so, and then I have now here option save draft. If I don't want to post it, so I can save it as a draft because I must say, let's say I was creating my post and somebody came in between and I want to shut down my system. So I can save it in the draft. I can schedule this to go to the students after a certain point of time. So let's say I'm checking it, that should go on 1st August only, but it should go at 5 p.m. So maybe I'm selecting a time. So 5 p.m. should be 17 here. And then, okay, let me write 5 here. Just a minute. So if I go to 2 and if I now go to 1 and I change this 8 to 5. I'm not sure it is taking in what format. Okay, but let me just take
Ma'am,
it for.
it was 5, it was taking us 5 a.m. on 1st August. So that's why it was saying in the future.
So I think it will, I'll check it and change it into 17, and maybe 17 is 5 o'clock, but looks like it is not taking for the current date. It is taking for the day ahead. First,
Yes.
also, it is not taken. So let's schedule it. So maybe you will be able to check it at a later date. So point here is we can schedule it for a later date also. So this assignment will not reach you now, but I am sure this message must have reached you. How are we all? So this is way of announcements. Actually, this is not a right way to give assignment. We have another tab for assigning assignments that I am coming to. This is just for informal chats. But with your informal chats, you can attach images and file. So this is for announcements. So I would recommend this you should use for class sharing, class notices, making any announcement to the class. If there are some competitions coming up, there are posters. So all that should be shared here, but ideally not for homework and classwork. For that, you should go to classwork tab. So the another tab which is available with us is classwork. Before I come here, just one thing more. If you feel that you want to have the picture of your class with all your children, you can change the theme and upload a different photo from here. So if you have the pictures of your students on your computer or on anywhere, so you can select from Drive, and you can select any picture of your class. So I'm just showing you as an example. So let me just take any picture. So I'm just selecting any random picture and showing you that you can actually replace the picture which was coming in the banner with your own picture. So this has been now changed. It is changing. So it's uploading picture. So this has come now. If you want to see the computer class room, this is the slider. You can click here. So subject computer science room here. If you take the slider up, it is coming. So theme and photo can be changed. So this is theme. So you can select the basic themes also. So if you want theme, you can have the theme also implemented here. So theme is either theme will come or picture will come. So it's up to you whether you want theme or you want a customized photograph. Now moving on. So this was here. Upcoming, since I have not set up any assignment, so my upcoming is not coming here. If the moment I'll go to classwork and set up an assignment with a deadline, my upcoming panel will show me what is due for me to, to be checked or to be reviewed, then it will come. So let's move on to the classwork tab. If I go to classwork tab, it says create assignment. So now these are the 3 options that is showing me what all can be done with this option. So, but to create an assignment, you have to click on create. What are you doing? Are you setting up an assignment, or you just want to set up a question, or you want to upload a material, or you want to reuse a post that you made earlier to any other class for this class? The first thing is, before you do any of these, is the ideal scenario is to create a topic, because we don't want our assignment to be cluttered and our Google Classroom to be filled with unnecessary so many assignments which are not foldered. So let's say my first topic is going to be let's say binary numbers. So I'm going to create my first folder with the name binary number. So I'm writing my first topic name as binary number, and I say add. Now this topic is being created. Now what happened when you create a topic? By default, in your Google Drive, a folder with the name binary number will be created. Now whatever work students will submit for this topic, that will come in this folder only. Once I've created the topic, I can rename it, delete it. I can keep the link of the topic so that if I want to share this resource with anyone, I can give them the link. Now let's say I should have put in binary numbers, and I put in number, so I can go back and I can rename it. So this is my topic is done. Once the topic is done, within the topic, I should create any of these, what I want related to that topic. So it's a good practice, as on your computer also, you try to make folders and put the relevant thing in the relevant folder. So I'm going to now create my assignment within this topic. So it says add or create material. So if you have already created worksheets, जो आप पहले से use कर रहे थे, if you have them ready on your system, you can add them from your computer or you can create it from here. So let's say my title of my topic is Introduction to Binary Numbers. So I'm going to create an assignment on Introduction to Binary Numbers and Conversions. Then I am saying my instructions are use the long division method to convert the given decimal numbers to binary. Let's say this is my instruction related to my topic for which I am setting up an assignment. If I already have a worksheet where I have some questions, I can upload. Otherwise, I can create it right here using a Google Doc or a slide or a form, whatever I feel. So suppose I go to Doc. So it's creating a doc here. So let's say I'm writing my 5 questions here, which I want to give them. So I'm writing convert the given numbers to binary. So, and then say, I have written here my few numbers. And then let's say that's it. So I just want, 1 or 2 questions to be given. This is an untitled document, but as soon as I clicked on it, it has automatically picked up its topic from the assignment name that we had added. Now this is auto save. So you can, before you close it, you should see the status. This is a problem while we work online. So we feel that, you are typing and suppose your net is little slow and you have immediately closed this document thinking on the cloud, everything gets saved on its own. But if this right sign is not coming, then it means your document has not synced up, it is not synced on the cloud. So it is still saving. Then have little patience. Ensure before you close it, this right sign is here, then you can close it. Now you can come back here and see now what students can do it. So it says students can view the file, students can edit the file or make a copy for each student. Now those who are teaching in the Cambridge curriculum, they know that the students get to write in the same worksheet. Means if you give them any assignment, they have to write in the question paper itself. For any exam, they get the paper such that the space is between the question itself. So they should be writing in the same, worksheet and submit it back. If you want to create that kind of scenario, make a copy for each student. So what will happen when the child will attempt this worksheet, they will be writing the answers in the same worksheet and clicking on, save, submit. So then the ID by which the child has logged into the classroom, you will get a copy from his ID and you can check it on, and it will come with the same name, the name by which you have created an assignment. But if you say students can view the file, so children will be only able to view the file. If they try to write something in the file, the software will ask them to save it with a different name because it will be a view only file for them. And since it will be a view only file for them, once they want to work in that, they will use save as option and they will save with any name what suits to them, and then they will send it back to you. So you may get variety of names of the homework file that you have assigned. So it's a good idea that you can, give students this option that make a copy for each student. So every student will get a copy of this assignment with them, right? So then this is the feasible option. And if you want children to work on a collaborative document, you can say student can edit the file. So if you suppose you want to get a class assembly ideas from them and you want to make them work on a collaborative document, you can use this option, students can edit the file. Otherwise, first and the last option depending on your need. Once you have done that, you can click on assign. Now, before you click on assigning work, now the few points to be noted here is you want to assign it to all students or to a selected ones. So you can make your choices here. Then, will this assignment have some marks? So I've just given 5 questions. Unmarked, or I can reduce my marks by 2 marks each question. I can give them 10 points. Due date, any due date for submission, by default it is open assignment. If you want to set up due date, you can go here and set up date and time. So you can set up by the end of the day on 4th August. You want to save this assignment under topic, so I want to save it under binary number. If you want to attach a rubric, for example, I want to tell children that, you know, there will be, so I want to tell them there is 2 mark for 1 mark for working. So I can set up here for working and 1 mark for correct answer. So level 1 is working. I can description right now for writing steps. So I want to tell them each question is of 2 marks, while for each question. And then I can write this is for working and this is for correct answer. So second is for correct answer. So I can give my rubric parameters. So every question is of 2 marks. So 1 point for working and 1 5 point for correct answer. I can give them Bloom taxonomic according levels also. I'm not discussing that because some may not be able to relate it. Once you have done that, and then you can arrange it if your points have different order. So you could have done it like ascending or descending order of points. Then you can say save. And actually I should have done it for, so this is criteria. It is coming here, criteria 2 points, 1 more point for working. Students can check and 1 point for your correct answer. So this is a 10 mark assignment. I want to send the rubric also to all the students along with the assignment. And then I can click on assign. Now, one problem which I see here is I give a name to the assignment, but it is still showing unnamed. So I can give here, I have to, I think, press a enter here. And now if I come back, this is maybe some problem with the updation. So I will reflect, I have to refresh my window, looks like, because here also the same name of the assignment should come. Now see the name is, so this is binary number. Now the assignment name has come up and now it is being updated. So I'm going to edit assignment. So I had to refresh my window to do that. Earlier it was not coming as, it was coming only as untitled. Now once I have done that, I have to click on assign. Same way as we were discussing with the post, we have again 2 options, schedule at a later date, and assign it right away or save draft. So let me assign it right away so that you all have feel to it. I would recommend that those who are in the classroom can open and write anything in the answer just for 1, 0, any answers, so that we can see how when you as a teacher will assign it to the students, when they responded back, how you would get the interface at your end and how you can mark those assignments. So it says assigning. So in a fraction of seconds, now you should be getting, it's showing me now 0 handed in, and I have assigned it to 12 students, those who joined my classroom. So this is my default page. So it is showing this is the assignment. If I go to my Google Calendar, if I would have set up any deadline, so it would have showed me that this is the deadline. So see, Abhi, when I was testing this particular portal, so I had set up a deadline for an assignment on 6th of August. This I have not set up a deadline. I have assigned you right away without setting any deadline. So nothing is coming. But you can see here, there is this one assignment worksheet on inheritance. So this before the session, I was testing it. So I have given the deadline as 6th August and I have given them a link and a demo worksheet. So this is my assignment. So all my due dates will pop up in my Google Calendar. So this is, you can open your calendar and check up this, all the assignments which students will turn up will go to my class drive folder. So if I click here in my Google Drive, in my Google Classroom, my topic has been created. So you see my drive, classroom, class 12C. So all the classes are, data will be saved on my drive of the Gmail ID, by which I have signed in into Google Classroom. So this is my assignment which is there. So far no student has turned in. So this was showing me that no student has turned in. This is 0-handed in. If any one of you can try, then I will show you how it comes up over here and you should be able to see it. I am sure it has been posted for everyone, but the moment you will submit, I will get a notification. Now this is a cool tip here. Move new post to the top of it. So as you have keeping different posting, you are making different posts to your students. So you want whatever you post on last, that should come on top. So you can reorder your post. So it says click this menu to move any post to the top of the stream. So this is you can use these tips. These are effective tips. However, I have kept a link ready for you, which I'll share towards the end, where there are useful tips how to make your Google Classroom more productive. So you can actually order the assignments and you can upload them the way you want it. Now this is reuse post. Say for example, every day when I begin my class, I want to ask students, how are you? Or how are you feeling today? So one day I posted, how are you feeling today? Now I want to reuse that. So that I posted in class 12 science and I want to reuse that post. So I'm going to again, hello, how are we all? I want to reuse this post. So I select it and I say reuse. And this is asking to all students. So I'm saying yes, and I can say post. So if as a teacher, I want to have this practice that when I begin my class, I want to ask, how are you all? Good morning. How was weekend? Something like that. So once I do that post, I can always, reuse my post, which I have already created. Now, moving on. I'm coming back to my classwork screen just to see if anyone has turned in. So I can see 4 people have turned in and I had assigned it to 8. So I know how many of you have submitted and how many have still not submitted. And I see there are 5 class comments. So people are saying, got the assignment, I have received the assignment, received. So I know my students' responses also. So if I click on 4-handed in, so when I want to check, so somebody submitted and then withdrew also. So maybe the child withdraw the assignment and earlier submitted but want to resubmit. So I got that understanding also. Now I say 3-handed in. So if I click on 3-handed in, I see let's say Raju sir's assignment. So if I click on that, so sorry, it's Dilip sir's assignment. If I click on that, it is opening in a window. So sir has given the first answer as correct. Good. So that's the correct conversion. So I've got the first one response from Dilip sir. He has handed in this way I can open it. Now this beauty here is I have a pen here. I can highlight. This is highlighter. This is editing mode. So if I go to my editing mode and I want to put some comment, or I want to, say this is add comment. So first, so I say appreciate timely submission. So I'm giving a comment here that I appreciate your timely submission. And I say put comment. So the comment will go to the child with this work. And then if I want to put some normal text here, I can, always, it says spelling and grammar check. If you want to copy the format of something, this is your format painter. So you have all these options as a teacher here. If I want to highlight this answer, I can highlight, and I want to add a comment here. So I can write with my comment also that this is good, correct answer. So I can comment, and then once I've done everything with this, so I just want to give 2 marks for this because this is 1 question submitted. So I'm just giving rubric ke according first 1 and 1, right? So I can then say this is 1 and 1. So, and here I change the mark because it is just 1 question done. So I say 2 mark. And if I want to add any comment, I can do that. And once I've done that, so I may be writing something and I can say post. So this will go to the child, and if I say return, so I can return this assignment. So child will come to know that the assignment has been returned. Students will be notified once I have returned it. So Raju sir, Dilip sir, you can actually see whether it has been returned to you. So it says handed on. I can see the history, what time the assignment was assigned and what time it was submitted and what time it was returned. So this is the teacher view, which you can actually see. One thing more, if I want to return everybody's submission, I can go to return multiple submission. I can select the student whose assignment I want to return. But this I should do once I have checked all the copies. So this is, I have just checked Dilip sir's copy. Now if I click on this top arrow, Vandana's copies here, so I can just check Vandana ma'am's copy, then I can go to Nishita's copy. So one by one I can check all, and at the end I can choose the option to return multiple submission. I can return everybody's copy together. Now one thing here, I'm just trying to see if there is there was a highlighter is there was a pen earlier, I could see it. Now I'm unable to see it on my screen. If anyone has used this is actually a Google Doc only. So I think from insert menu, I should get that. If I have to put a tick sign or if I have to put a freehand drawing or something, just 1 minute. I will come back to this. I think we can put a, we have a freehand drawing tool using which we can put a tick also. So earlier it was right here. I checked it before the session, but I will let you know after a while. Let me figure it out where it was. So we can actually, now the beauty here is you can give feedback, voice feedback.
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry to disturb. I guess if you come out of the editing mode, then you will be able to see that tick.
So okay. So I am in view. So in view only mode, so I can actually view your document, but I can't edit. In editing mode, I can do directly anything what I want to do. So I will come back to it. I'll figure it out before we close the class. Let us move ahead. I will ask my son. He showed me it was there. So I can actually put a comment and highlight that is doable. So there was drawing toolbar. We could put drawing ticks and all. So I'll come back to that. Now moving on, as I was showing you, accessibility feature can be used to put comments. You can, give voice comments also. You can put the normal comments also. And then you can have header and footer. Say, for example, if you have set up an image in the footer as your signature, so you can use it on every checking. You don't have to every time sign. I can actually create a footer and I can insert it into the footnote on every document. So I can get out the hassle of putting my signature everywhere, because we feel really it is difficult to put our signatures. So we can make them as a drawing, save them somewhere, and we can set them in the footer. So our signatures by default can also come. Now coming back, this was about marking of assignments. So I am not, just marking for everyone. I am just randomly typing 4 marks for Purva ma'am just to show you. And I am coming out to going to another child. Let's say for Nishita ma'am, I am giving 6 marks, just like that. And for Vandana ma'am, again, I'm giving 5 marks. And then I'm saying return to all, just to show you that I can do multiple submission returns also. So then I say return. So 3 of you should be getting the copies returned. Now this was about handling assignments. So I'm coming back to my previous window. So this is returned, assignment is returned. So it was showing 700 1 marked. So I actually checked 1 for it, now 4 marked, because as soon as you receive it, then only my submission will come. 404 assigned, 4 marked. So it is coming here. So now coming back to my, these were the, instructions which we had given. Now I come back here and I can come back to my classes using this tab. So this is my class 12 science in which we were working. So this is about assignments. I want to show you a beautiful feature called Google Jamboard. I'm not sure whether you have used it or not. This is here, Google Jamboard. So I can come to Google Jamboard. This is an interactive wall sort of, and you can use it actually for making presentations also and for brainstorming also. So I had created a Jamboard. First, I want you to have a feel of the Jamboard. I will share it with you all. So I, click on this and then I'll show you how to create a Jamboard also. So this is my Google Jamboard. I want to share it. So this is, I want you to put one sticky note on it. When you get a link to it, we are actually brainstorming for teaching, how to use remote learning resources for primary school, let's say. So we want people to put in their ideas. So I've created this Jamboard where I have given my first answer as my answer. Now here, when it comes to you, this is a sticky note. And you can use the sticky note to write. You can upload any image. You can use the pen to write anything on my wall. So now I'm going to click on share. And I've created a public link. Anyone with the link on the internet can respond to it. If I would have had enterprise version of Google Classroom, I would have given write only to my students. So I can always select here. See, my all classes will also come here once I have that. So I can actually give it to a specific class also. Then I can come back to my classroom. So I go to class 12, this class 12, and I am putting it, the link of the Jamboard here, and I'm writing, try this. And I will also put it in the Meet chat so that those of you who are in the meeting but are not in my classroom can also try. So I've given the link of Google Jamboard here. Even if you teach on Teams, you can create a Jamboard and you can, use the link in the Teams chat or Zoom chat. So Google Jamboard can be used with other platforms also. It's just like a link. I have created a link and I have pasted here. And anyone with the link should be able to put in the ideas on my Jamboard. So this is the first screen. I can see that, people are coming into his Jamboard. So you can use the sticky note and pour your idea, any one idea which you feel should be good enough to teach primary students via remote learning. So I'm seeing somebody is trying to use a pen, used eraser. So you can actually work on this board. So somebody deleted my sticky note or replaced the text on my sticky note. Oh, somebody is writing N. Yes. So whosoever is using sticky note, please, every time you type, you use a new note. Don't keep editing the old note. You are editing the old note, use yes. Now I can see people are using different notes. Earlier people were using my note. So you have removed the image also. So I should have given the instructions clearly. So each one of you should pick up the sticky note, a new note, and should write. Okay, we'll go live on Meets, Edpuzzle you would use. Okay, so this is how you would feel. So my original sticky note is back. I can see that. Oh, somebody very creatively wrote Namaste. That's also very nice. Now see, this is first thing. As soon as I want, as long as I want you all to work on this, very nice. Somebody is drawing a swastik sign also. So this is with junior kids, is this something good? So how are they feeling? You can tell them to, put the picture of a smiley, or if with senior children, you want to use it for brainstorming. So, but I would say that since we are using the free version, I do not have an opportunity. Somebody cleared the frame. So I do not have an opportunity to moderate. This is good you did that. I wanted to say somebody to do that. So somebody cleared the wall. Now I do not have the rights to moderate it because I cannot moderate this frame on which you all are working. I have given you an opportunity to collaborate. So I can't control that in my free education edition. If you have an enterprise version, you will have moderate rights also, so that you can moderate what people are doing. Now moving on to the second screen, I have created here things you can do with Google Classroom. So you can maybe use a sticky note at your end and put one thing like what would you like to do with Google Classroom, just to see. But I must say, children of this class are very naughty. People have erased everything. Before we could download it and save it as a PDF. So are you getting the second frame on your screen? Things you can do with Google Classroom. So are you able to see the second screen? Can someone confirm? Are you able to see the second screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can, put ideas here, like what would you like to do with Google Classroom? You want to set up assignment, you want to make announcements, you want to share circulars, whatever you want to do with the Google Classroom, you can, share ideas over here. Are you still working on the first frame? Okay. So this is on the first frame. Now moving on to the second frame. So this is our second frame. So I had given 3 brainstorming exercises here. Now your favorite tech tool to engage students online. So I had actually given, so somebody created a blank frame also at the end. I had created, maximum I can create 5 frames here. So okay, the capacity has also increased. I was trying with first 5. So this is Jamboard. This is used for collaboration and fun activities and brainstorming ideas. So this is, I just want to show you, people are increasing the frames. So there are many frames which are being increased here. So I think you have got an idea. So let me close this activity and come back to the, so I've closed that. So sorry for that. You can explore it. I want to show you how to create a Jamboard. This is super easy. So I go to Jamboard from here. And you go to this plus sign, create. So other day we had a party. You must see this Jamboard. However, I am not going to share the rights with you, but you can see this Jamboard. So there was this conference where they did virtual party of the new Adobe leaders. So that then let's say, these are the different colors. So we were to choose one color, and the 5 people, they were divided us into rooms. So we were to actually, choose our color. So like this is my window. I replaced actually my picture here. So I wrote educator from India, love creativity, computer science facilitator. So I was to use 5 sticky notes to explain myself. So this was one activity which we did. And there were 18 such activity, if you see. So there were 18 frames which somebody, the organizers created. So there were activities and nice activities. So people can use it for, a creative assignment also. You give a picture and ask people to put in their ideas here. Guess what sort of. So this was very creative. You can do creative stuff using Google Jamboard, which is here. So sustainable development goals can be discussed. Brainstorming can be done. Many things to be done with, Jamboard. It is here. So every child created a picture for himself, every participant, and the other participants too were to guess who this person could be, looking at the kind of likings which the person has put in here. So this was also get to know each other activity, which was very good, which they created using Jamboard. Now what I was saying is, how to create your own Jamboard, I'll quickly show. This is very easy, super easy. You can click on this plus sign, and then this is your wall. So what I simply did, I added an image to convey what I want to convey. I can do a free Google image search from here. So I can just write collaboration ideas. If I have my own image ready, so I can upload it from my computer also. Otherwise, I can write here whatever I want to write. I can, choose the color theme also if I want only blue color images or only pink color images. So theme-based images can also be searched. I can put an image in the center, write the instructions on top, like I did it for you all. So once your image is put up, you have given your instruction using the pen or the text tool or the sticky note. The sticky note is here. Once it is done, you can actually share it with people. So if you click on share, by default it is private. It says only people added can open the link here. But if I want to create a public link, change it to anyone with the link. Anyone with the link I have changed. So anyone with the link can actually have access to it. I can now copy paste this link in my Google Classroom. I want to give them view write or edit write. Agar if you are making presentation, you don't want them to write on your wall, then give them only view write. They will be able to see. They will not be able to write like you all were writing. Otherwise, I can give them edit write also. So I can actually, do this setting. Now, if I change this link to restricted, see restricted here. So it says only people with added can open link. So I have to actually add people. So I have to maybe add my whole class here. So only my class can, or a group can add. So for example, let me add my son's ID here. So he can actually add. Now I have this settings. Editors can change permission and share. I will disable it. Viewers and commenters can see the option to download. So I can remove this also. They should not be able to do these two settings. I can update these settings. This is good in a classroom scenario. And I can then send, he will get a notification that he is being asked to collaborate on this Jamboard. This is how you create, you share, and then you get a link. And then that link can be copy pasted and put it up in the Google Classroom. I hope this is clear how to use the Google, Jamboard. In order to enhance your classroom things, the most important thing for you is to see your students from here. If you want to send all your students to be notified every time you add an assignment with the email. So here you have an option email. You want to send them a common email, or you want to mute any child, or you want to remove any child. These are the options here. If I click on email, then I can send a mail directly from here to all my students. So now the email ID using which they have joined this platform, it will go to that platform. And the beauty is that all the IDs by default are going in BCC. So when I will send it to all, they will not come to know who all have received the same mail. So I can just click on send. My Gmail is activated from here and it will go to them. So I'm rightly not sending any mail, but I'm just showing you how you can send the mail at the click of a button to all your students. If you want to add your co-class teacher or anyone, you have to put in the ID of that person here. So that teacher will also be a part of this class. So suppose I want my colleague to join this particular class. I can write her email ID and I can say invite. So she will get a notification that I have invited her to join Google Classroom Class 12 Science. So this is how it works. If you mark a few assignment, you can see those marking in the mark section here. So it is showing I have given few students mark 6, 4, 5. So it is coming here that I have marked so many papers. Now coming back to review tab, if any assignment is open to be reviewed, it will come here. So this was first assignment. I did not give it to anyone. So it is handed 0, 0 assigned. Second one, I can review. So this is my work in progress for me to review how much is pending work for me as a teacher. If I archive any class, so if I've used Google Classroom in 2019 and academic year 2020, I can archive my classes. So they will go to archive classes. Now these are the settings. Settings, I've already showed you that, whether children should be able to comment on your post. They should be able to mention you, private comments you want to allow. Late submission you want to allow from the children or not. You want resubmission of student work. For example, I was noticing when I assigned you the work, there were 4 students who submitted. Later on, one child withdraw his assignment. If I want to stop this, once you have submitted, you can't resubmit. I can close this option. Invitation to co-teachers, yes. Can schedule post published, yes, I can want to do that. So remaining settings can be on. Now, the students you can also tell your students to download the Google Classroom app. So an app is also available for the children, those who attend classes using phone or use Google Classroom using phone. Now, coming back to my home screen quickly, this is the option here if you want to add more classes. Now, the last thing which I wanted to tell you is these are all powerful tools here. Like if you want to create a meeting from your class, you can go to Meet directly from here. If you want to show YouTube video, you can go from here. Find and set up a link. Duo call can be made, photos can be accessed. Now I'm coming back to Earth is a very good tool for geography teachers to explore. You must explore this Earth feature here. Now I'm coming back to one screen of my PowerPoint and I want to show you these are some useful links. So I'm going to put these links in the chat window for you all to explore. Just 1 minute. I'll open my slide in editing mode and just share it to you. And one of these I would like to show you right here, the feature. So I'm pasting these useful links in the chat window. Now, if I show you one of these links, say for example, this is easy. Whatever I've spoken so far, setting up the classroom, working step by step, the first link is related to that only. So you can see that it's a quick guide for the new learner. So if you go, it is showing you step by step. Go here, click on plus sign, create your first class, add information, change banner, change theme. So you can learn it from here. So this is step by step. What I told you, everything is here. How to assignments. So this is recap of my today's session in a literature form. You will find it over here. Another link which I have given you, the second link, this is about 10 productive ways to use Google Classroom. So how can you, actually make your classroom cleaner, effective, how you can send email, how to bring the, latest post on top, adding class comment, private comments. I have shown you all of this. So this is again a literature. So I actually leverage this resource to before this session to see if I find interesting facts to discuss with you. So you can also leverage this. Last but not the least, this is something add-ins. So we all are aware that there are some add-ins which increase the power of Google, tools. So this is how you can actually add a Google add-in. I'm just showing you that. So these are Google Chrome extensions actually. In Microsoft scenarios, they are called add-ins. In Google scenario, they're called extensions. So there is this beautiful extension which can be added to Google Classrooms also, or to your ID. This is called Drive Slide. Now, if suppose you have, you were doing some class activity and you have taken screenshots, or you have 20 pictures with you in your Google Drive, you want to make a quick presentation with those 20 pictures in one go at the click of a button with some light background music, you can use this add-in Drive Slides. So this is again slide shot, create an image of your screenshots, put the screenshots in a new separate slide, show, so it will become a Google presentation. So these are Google Classroom add-ins which can be, teacher can bring in a, newsletter to the classroom. There is a comment maker, there is a app, extension to do the polls. So these are different things which can be leveraged. So I have given a link of this also in the chat window. For those who don't know how to add these add-ins to your computer, I am just showing a screen. You just go to Google. I'm writing here google.com. And here you see, when I have come to this google.com, on my browser, I have options to add extensions, or I can write here Chrome Web Store. So I can go to Chrome Web Store. So it brings you click on this first link, Chrome Web Store. Now here you can search for extension. So as I was showing you, the first useful extension here is Drive Slides. So if I click on this and I come back to my Chrome Store, Web Store, and I type the name of this extension and I click on search. This is the first extension which is here. It says add to Chrome. So I just have to do this much. It will be added to my Chrome browser and I can use it whenever I want. So I think this is what I wanted to present. If anything else you would like me to discuss, or any other, thoughts on this, any questions, I'm available here to answer all that. So you can unmute yourself one by one and ask if there are any doubts.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Myself is Amit from BDM International School. So I have one question, ma'am. Suppose when we take the online classes in Google Meet, the student can get entered. We can get make the student get entered in the class. But when the class is going on, some of the student can leave the session and they can't able to and they can't rejoin the session. So is there any way that once the student can get entered the Google Meet, we freeze the student in the they can't able to leave the meet?
Sir, with my limited knowledge with Google Meet, I think that in this free edition, you don't have those rights. You can't, even in the, any other platform also, we can't froze the students once they have come in the meeting that they can't leave. But I'm sure I've heard of something about this. If you purchase the enterprise version, you can still have that option. But you know what happens? You have frozen the child, but the child can mute the class.
Okay, ma'am.
Maybe for you, he is visible that he is attending the class, but he is actually mute you or mute the class. He's not receiving any notification. He's not listening any voice.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. There is no other way that we can, we have to purchase the enterprise version of the Google Meet. No, ma'am.
So, sir, as I'm saying that free version of every tool gives you very limited options.
Yes, ma'am.
Very limited options.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, could I ask something?
Yes,
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Rishira Chakraborty from BDM International. So this same kind of question that when we are showing, presenting a video, usually the audio is not there. It's not audible when we are doing this on Google Meet. So how this can be like worked out?
So, sir, when you join a Google meeting, it asks you that you want to join with audio or not. So you have to do your settings. So you should join with audio. And when you share your screen, you get options. You can do those settings that you can share audio with the presenters.
Like I am, taking the class via mobile. So I don't find any option as such there.
So just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I'll try to see if I get it here. I'll show it to you. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
So meanwhile, we can have another question by the time I'm looking the option on my screen, if I get to show you.
Ma'am.
Sonia, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I am Sujata Biswas from BDMI. I have a small question. Suppose I am creating a lesson and I want to save it and I want to show it after 2 days. How to do that?
So, ma'am, I'm just showing you. You can, as I was showing you, that you can schedule a lesson to be, shown to the students after some time. So I'm just, give me 1 minute. I am sending the screenshot to the question of the previous, it was asked previously. So, sir, I am sharing a screenshot with you. You had asked that the settings to be checked before, while you are sharing your presentation and the others are not able to hear the audio. Actually, in this meeting chat option, I'm unable to post the screenshot. So I'm just showing you on my screen. I just took the screenshot. Can you see this screenshot? I'll just make my screen little big. Is this visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So while I select that, when I have to make the presentation to people, there are some audio settings. So I can, set my settings for audio sharing, video sharing, and in this general tab also I can do the settings, share videos with audio. So these settings are available. Please explore. This is available on the, when you have 3 dots next to the window of presenter.
Namaste, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Nisha here. Actually, the question is quite valid, ma'am. Especially when you are accessing the Google Meet
Mhm.
from mobile phones.
Mhm.
I don't think such options are available on mobile phones. It's only available when you are using laptops or PC.
Ma'am, settings are available in the online version also.
Mhm. Okay.
So,
Hello.
ma'am, just give me 1 minute. He wants to add something. As I said, my son is here with me. He would like to add on something.
Ma'am, there are many, like there are some options that are not available in the mobile phone, but the settings option is always available. Just need to explore a bit and you'll find that settings option. And if you're unable to hear, like nowadays everyone has a pair of earphones, however they are. You can just connect your earphones
Excuse me.
and then work
Could
with it.
I just interrupt? You know, in the settings option, we are getting that the administrator has like it is disabled. When we go to the left of the screen and try to go, work the settings option, we find that the administrator only can enable it.
So, sir, it means your school administrator has blocked certain settings for the teachers. Are you joining using your organizational ID?
Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, please contact your IT persons. They should give you the right.
Excuse me,
Okay.
ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm Sudipta Chatterjee, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to share my experience. Actually, I am using a laptop, but if I only have an upgraded version of the laptop, then only I can, means the sound can be heard if I'm playing the video. Otherwise, the sound cannot be heard by the students. Okay, when I'm playing a video, if only I have an upgraded version of the laptop, then only the students will be able to hear the sound.
Ma'am, ma'am, this is Reshma Roy. You can show it with the help of Chrome tab, ma'am. With Chrome tab, you can show it.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Then the
Correct.
sound can be heard.
Yes, you can present through
Chrome tab.
That
Okay,
is for the
through
YouTube only.
Okay,
Means
thank you.
browser videos only, not the saved one.
Ma'am, I think how to do that using Chrome tab. Through Chrome tab, how we can show the YouTube video on Google Meet?
Ma'am, like as my
Ma'am, like as I am showing you my entire
you give the present option, there will be 3 or 4 options. One is present screen, present one window,
Window.
or
Present
there
the
will
window
be
and attached
present
in a
in
Chrome
Chrome
tab.
tab. You have to select Chrome tab, then you will get that option. There will be 3 or 4 options, YouTube, this, that. You have to
Ma'am,
select
I have updated. Excuse me, ma'am. I have updated the Google Meet app, but I haven't got that option through Google tab. That option I'm not getting.
Ma'am, can I say something here?
Yes.
So the thing is, if you share your entire screen, when you share your screen, so anything what is open on your computer, that comes as suggestions. So if you select the first option, entire screen. So if I have shared my entire screen with the students, now whatever I open on my screen, you must be realizing, abhi dekhiye, if I am opening different tabs, aapko sab dikh raha hoga because I have shared my entire screen with you. So same way, when you share your entire screen, if you open on your phone YouTube videos, students will be able to see that well also.
Okay, Sonia ma'am,
Ma'am, I want to ask you one question. Can you please? Hello?
To answer this question for everyone in the audience, how you can present your YouTube video through a Chrome tab, I'm going to paste a link, which is a link to a screenshot, okay? And that screenshot, if you open, I've just posted it, it will show you where you will get the option. So this option is available on desktop. When you go to the present now option on the bottom right hand corner, it gives you 3 options. So you have the option to present your entire screen or a particular window, or you could present a Chrome tab. It says it's best for video and animation. So typically this provision, this screenshot URL, you can check out. But on mobile phones, yes, this option is not available.
Okay, sir, to add on to what sir said, what we do is usually the teachers, those who are on phone, I always tell them that you keep the link of the YouTube video very handy with you and paste that link in chat window. So the day you have bad network and your screen is, again and again freezing, at least you have posted the link in the chat window. All the children have access to YouTube video. They will watch at their own bandwidth and there is no problem in the flow of the class. That is also one suggestion.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one query. Can you please let me know, can the correction happen on Google Form?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Yes, I wanted to ask you that as you have shown about the document, it was very nice, but I wanted to also know about how can we do the checking part, the assessment in the Google form.
Ma'am, that we had discussed in the previous session. I would request if you can see the recording, because that will take additional 15-20 minutes to show the process.
Okay.
I'm sure the last session was recorded. The sir will share the recording link with you in the chat window, and then you can go through the session recording, please.
Okay, that is fine. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am. Any more questions?
Namaste. Yeah, I think we are done with the questions, Amit sir.
Ma'am, there is one question by Avinash ma'am. She asks, how can a child rejoin the class if he or she gets disconnected in between?
So, ma'am, for that, when you create meetings using the calendar, you can create the meeting link with you. If you have parallel running WhatsApp group with the students, so you can, always paste the meeting link in the WhatsApp group, because it is easy always to join a meeting using a link like we all have joined just now. So whenever you schedule a class and, generate a meeting link and keep it ready, so that whosoever is unable to join, either due to poor network problem or due to accessibility, anything, a link becomes very handy to join the class quickly again.
Okay, ma'am. So as per you, we need to share the link to another platform as well, like on WhatsApp as well, simultaneously if we are taking our class, if in case a child gets disconnected.
So, ma'am, I'm not sure. I have not explored this feature with Google Meets. In Microsoft Teams, we have a feature to invite the people, those who are already added to that classroom. So if somebody leaves the class and is unable to join, and they WhatsApp it to friends that my network issue, unable to join, so teacher quickly invites them using the invite option, and then they on their team screen it pops up and they can invite. So I think in Google Classroom also invite feature can also work in order to invite people, those who have any difficulty in joining.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much.
Sonia, ma'am,
I'll explore.
Is linked more to troubleshooting on Google Meets when a student gets disconnected. So typically in Google Meets, when we face any problem, I advise
Amit sir, anyhow the child is going to get into Google Meet through Google Forms, Google Classroom, I'm sorry, right? So my question was that if a child he comes into the class and the class is going on, after 10 to 15 minutes, if a child gets disconnected, so can he go again back to Google Classroom and he can rejoin automatically, or again I have to share any link to him, like the same link somewhere else, so that he can join?
They can go to Google Classroom, that particular class, and they can click on the link and join in
so they can join automatically. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask, is it possible to take attendance in Google Classroom by sharing any form or something, some kind of that?
Definitely, that is possible. You can create a form, paste it link, and you can use it for whatever purpose you want.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Sir, at present, we all are on Google Meet. So we have, I can see in the people tab, there are 163 people. But, I may not, say if I'm taking a class with 120 students, so later on, I may not remember who was present, who was missing. So it's a good idea that you can create just 2 question form. Your name, how are you feeling today, present, absent, and paste the link in the chat window. Or ask all students to use it, so you will get attendance collated in Excel.
Right, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Amit sir, I think we are done with the questions now.
Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, asking a lot of doubts. So one question actually ensures that everybody's questions are answered. So, and thank you, Sonia ma'am, for a comprehensive, wonderful session, answering each and every small question and ensuring that everybody's doubts are clarified. And it's all the more interesting when we see that there are a lot of useful smaller Google tools that educators can use with Google Classroom. I'd like to thank you, Sonia ma'am, for explaining how you are actually practically using it with the students. It was a wonderful session indeed. A lot of participants are joining in right now, but no need to be disappointed. Even if you have missed the session, like I always do, I will ensure that the recording is posted on our official YouTube channel. So you can go to youtube.com and search for Ram Ratna International School Official, and you'll find our channel. You'll find a host of lot of useful sessions, recordings over there. Aadhar Shila Talks, Aadhar Shila Career Talks, Aadhar Shila Stream Talks. There are interviews of our alumni, so a lot of useful stuff. And of course, this latest session by Sonia ma'am is going to get added over there. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thanks a lot, Sonia ma'am. Deep gratitude from Ram Ratna School for conducting this session for us on our request. And I'd look forward to more sessions from you and learning more new things from you, so that everybody can use this with their students and give them the best of technology that we have at hand.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so very much for these words. So here I just have a submission here. As I said that maybe there can be some questions which are unanswered in the room. So they can, give it to you on some platform if you have. I will try to collate the answers and write back to you if there were some questions which I could not answer at this stage. As I already said, being a Microsoft trainer, it was like coming back to Google platform after 10 years. So there may be some questions in the room which I could not, but I'll get back to you for sure.
Sonia ma'am, one last thing. I'm really sorry. How to exit like class 12 SC class? Like how to exit the class? I'm unable to find.
Okay, I'm coming back to that. If you right click the class name, so as a teacher, I can go to the people tab and remove you. But as a student, I use just see. So as a teacher, I can select all students and I can remove you all from the class. That is doable from my end. So I can click here. And this is easy to remove anyone from my end. So if I want to remove you, I can remove you. But I'm not sure at your end whether you can do it yourself or not. So if suppose I'm selecting one of you and I want to remove you, let's me remove her. So I can remove you. It is easy for me to remove.
From a student login yesterday, and students have an option to unenroll themselves from a particular class.
Okay. Thank you for that addition, sir. So I can actually from here, if I have this action to, I want to remove all of you. So let me remove all of you together. So this was just a test class. So I can remove all of you. So now you all will be removed from this class.
Okay.
So for a teacher, it is easy.
So any more questions, I would suggest we can post it once I publish the YouTube video on our official channel. You can post questions there and that can be a point of interaction for that particular topic. I always encourage interaction on social media. Please feel free, just like you have joined today in this session, feel free to interact on our social channels. any question that can. So if I have a question that helps, 50 other people watching it on social media, then it is good to ask that question in a public platform than asking it on an email or a one-on-one. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We conclude today's session, and we look forward to the next session. And I'll be sharing the next session invite soon. And until then, be safe, take care, and enjoy with your students.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Sonia, ma'am.
Thank you.